Hey everyone, Jay Whitner here with Space Headlines. We do a quick recap each week of what's going on in the space universe, and today we're going to be talking about the second week of December 2018. Our first item was an article about the BFR and the need for BFR by SpaceX. This, of course, is the giant rocket that SpaceX is developing, and the thrust of the article was that it's really needed for SpaceX to deploy their Starlink constellation. This is satellite-based internet with a very large number of satellites. The complete constellation will be 12,000 satellites that they want to start deploying in 2019. Each satellite will weigh roughly 900 pounds. If you do the math on this, the mass is more than 10 of the International Space Station. So it's a huge task to lift all these things into orbit. And the article talked about this. They said, take 170 Delta IV heavies to lift the amount of mass. The BFR could do it in far less flights and so forth. But the conclusion is this is a very compelling reason for SpaceX to develop the BFR. Bon voyage to Voyager 2. Voyager 2 has left the solar system following its older sibling, Voyager 1. Voyager 2 has now passed through the heliopause, which is the sort of the edge of our solar system, and it is now 11 billion miles away, which is a mind-boggling sort of a number, and it's moving out at the leisurely speed of 34,000 miles an hour. So good luck to Voyager 2. Continue the exploration. We look forward to seeing what you find out. China made a nice accomplishment. They have a probe that's currently orbiting the moon that was recently launched. What makes this really newsworthy in particular is that the mission here is to land on the moon's far side. No company, no nation has ever done this before, so this is a groundbreaking thing. The target is the South Pole in the Icton Basin, which is interesting for a vast array of different things, for scientific things, for development, for potential ice mining. So China is going to get some ground truth on the South Pole of the moon, and perhaps they'll share with us what they find. Congratulations to Virgin Galactic. Virgin Galactic flew high and fast and reached space for the first time ever, which is just fantastic news. The craft reached an altitude of over 51 miles. The speed that it reached was almost Mach 3. I believe that tickets are still being offered at the price of $250,000. And this is a huge milestone. And I want to thank George Whitesides for the perseverance to make this happen, Richard Branson for financing this whole effort, and the whole team at Virgin Galactic for working so hard to open up the future for all of us. OneWeb got some good news. OneWeb is also working on satellite-based internet. And this is a huge endeavor, as I was explaining about the SpaceX constellation that SpaceX is working on. The news on OneWeb, though, is that they don't need as many satellites as they thought they were going to need. Their satellites are performing better than they thought they would. So instead of needing 900 satellites to do their mission, what they're planning on doing, they only need 600. This represents a huge cost savings, and it will enable the company to get the constellation deployed quicker because they won't need to deploy as many satellites to do it. OneWeb has been doing quite well so far. They've already raised $1.7 billion from investors for their effort for satellite internet. So we have multiple firms that are powerful, that are working hard to bring this to us. So perhaps satellite internet will be an available thing in the next year or two or three. I think that both companies are hoping to start launching next year in 2019. Rocket Lab had a successful launch. They launched from New Zealand, and the launch was a bunch of CubeSats. There were 13 CubeSats on the flight. The flight went very well. It was the third flight of the Electron rocket this year. And this particular flight was focused on CubeSats, mostly from educational institutions. I think universities were half a dozen of the satellites. And this endeavor was funded by NASA. That's it for the second week of December 2018. Hope you enjoyed our show. Check back with us soon. We'll be talking about the third week of December. Take care.